Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 challenge run. Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be playing a weapons only challenge using the king. So we're going to buy only weapons, no items, and see if we can still win the game. There's a lot of weapons that I can use for this, but today we're going to be going with the javelin. It's a primitive weapon, so that's going to help with the fact that we're going to have pretty low defenses, because we can't buy defensive items at all. And so javelin, I think, should give us some nice bonuses. Also, when you get it to level 4, which the king obviously wants to do, especially on a no weapons challenge, or no items challenge, the javelin crits automatically on every second attack. So that is very, very powerful. There is one exception to the no buying items rule, which is, of course, if the Gobbler's hat shows up, the brand new item, then I am going to buy that, because we all want to see it. And that's part of why I'm playing the king as well. The high luck might make that a little more likely to happen. Here, I will take 5 harvesting. Getting some early harvesting going can be pretty nice, and then we're going to buy a javelin. And of course, normally I would lock the coffee, because coffee is an incredibly efficient item, but we're not allowed to buy items, so no point in paying attention to anything other than the 2 weapons that we are getting here. So we're going to reroll here, and reroll again, and we'll lock another javelin. Very important, of course, when you're playing this character and with this challenge, to get our weapon levels as high as possible, as quickly as possible. So we're going to be rolling very aggressively for weapons in the early game. I'm going with 3 weapons here, even though that costs us 30% attack speed and damage, because having 3 weapons is still going to be better for clear speed than having 2 weapons with reduced attack speed and damage. It also does give me 3 more hit points, which isn't massive, but is a nice insurance policy if I walk into a million enemies in a row. Got the tree kill there at the end, which is good as well. And then here, I'm going to reroll. I'm still going to look for harvesting if I can find it. I missed twice, so let's just take some attack speed. We will want more attack speed. The hardest part about this challenge is going to be not buying good items like the Scar automatically. So we'll lock another javelin here, and then I'm going to combine down to only 3 weapons again. A good rule of thumb when playing the king, who of course takes attack speed and damage penalties for every level 1 weapon that you have in your inventory, is you never want more than 2 of those in your inventory, so you can keep 2 of them, but combine your weapons down to the point where you have no more than 2 at any given time. I did re-roll maybe a little too much looking for harvesting last wave, because I could have bought a second javelin if I hadn't re-rolled so much. I'm going to take some movement speed here. We have 50 luck, so we're likely to find these level 2 upgrades, and we will want movement speed eventually. And then, do I just want to take 8% damage? I think so. We're again just going to go with high level upgrades, because raw stats are going to be a problem for this character if we aren't finding them from our levels. So we just want to take as many powerful stat items or stat level ups as we can. Do some more re-rolling here, and again we are simply looking for javelins. I missed a bunch of times, and re-rolling for 8 I think is getting too expensive, so we are going to pass on the rest of that shop. Pretty unlucky, honestly, not finding more javelins there. Now obviously I could be using other weapons, but javelins are just a really nice weapon, and with the king, you want to get your weapons to level 4 as soon as possible, so sticking with 1 weapon type does help with that as well. I do want, if we can, to get curse alien kills. If we find a cursed javelin, that's amazing, because when those get to level 4, they critically hit on every single attack. Reroll here, and really nice to get a level 2 javelin upgrade. That's really good for us already, and we'll take another level 1 and roll and lock another level 1, and then we're going to try to level our weapons to level 4 as soon as possible. I do want to keep 6 weapons here again, even at the cost of the stat penalties that come with that, just because that's going to help us clear the wave as fast as possible. So our next step is going to be to get to level 2 weapons on every one of our weapon slots in order to get rid of the level 1 stat penalties. And then after that to get to level 4 as soon as possible so that we can get the attack speed and damage upgrades that make this character playable even without any items. I am struggling a little in terms of clear speed. We are also, of course, going to be suffering from low healing. Duct tape, of course, is an item that came in a crate, so we're recycling it. And then I am going to take 9 max HP because buying max HP is going to be kind of challenging for us. Here, we're going to combine and then buy the level 3 Javelin. I'm also going to do 1 reroll. Actually, so maybe what I should have done is buy the level 1, keep the level 3 locked, because that would make it more likely to find more level 1 Javelins. But I'm going to reroll in case we find a level 2. Which we didn't, so we'll just go to the next wave. We are, of course, falling behind economically, but one of the nice things about that is we don't have anything to spend the money on anyways, so it doesn't matter that we're falling a little bit behind in terms of our income. I really want a melee damage upgrade. Javelin, of course, despite being a ranged weapon, scales with melee damage. And our base damage is pretty low currently, so our attacks are not doing as much as we would like them to. If I found 1+4 melee upgrade, that would go an enormous distance towards fixing our damage output. Here I'm going to take 10% attack speed, though. Attack speed, very important for this character. Do I want 3 lifesteal? I think I'm just going to go with the harvesting. Lifesteal would also be pretty nice, but getting early harvesting just matters so much to us. I'm going to roll here, and I was really excited by the fishhook and the mastery, but of course we cannot buy them. Keep on rolling. We're going to roll very aggressively, looking for more Javelin upgrades. And here, we can combine to a level 4 Javelin. That gets me attack speed and damage, because as the king, each level 4 weapon gets us 25% attack speed and 25% damage. Then we can buy another level 2 Javelin and do a reroll, lock another level 2 Javelin. So Starfish is like a mini Gobbler's hat. Do I feel like that's in the spirit of the challenge rule? I think not. I think I am going to stick very closely, other than the Gobbler's hat, to the no item challenge here. It's also not totally clear that buying the Starfish would even be good, because the money is not that important when we're only buying weapons, and the extra damage could be very hard to deal with. This character is going to struggle with defensive stats, especially in the later game. One disadvantage that we have using this weapon is that we are unable to get increased pickup radius or baby geckos. So all the materials that we're leaving on the ground, because Javelin's quite long-ranged, we have no easy way to pick those up. Of course, we have to recycle the lemonade here, and then I'm going to take 2 lifesteal now. We've got... I could roll for better stats, but I do need some healing pretty soon, so getting the lifesteal is going to help out. I probably want a mixture of lifesteal and regeneration, because we simply are not going to have reliable healing on this character otherwise. Really nice to get a level 1 Javelin there. That lets me get all my weapons to at least level 2, so we're no longer taking those penalties. Then we're again going to do a bunch of re-rolling, and re-roll again. Alright, we'll go back to taking some penalties here, because I can buy another level 1 Javelin. And then I am going to spend 19 on a re-roll. 21, I think, is a little too expensive. Once you get your weapon, get 2 weapons to level 4, I think is where things start getting a little bit easier here. Although, so far we haven't been massively threatened yet, but I haven't actually taken damage that frequently. I say that and then immediately do. And one of the problems that we have is that we have no armor and no healing, which, of course, is going to be a real challenge to deal with in a couple waves when we get elite. We could easily just get 2-tapped by an elite with no way to heal it back and with no armor to protect us. Also, it was physically painful to pass that hunting trophy when we're playing a javelin run and have guaranteed critical hits. But that's the nature of the beast. Have to recycle the celery tea here. So here I am going to take 3 armor. Getting any armor makes such a massive difference in your survivability, so very important to get that going. Then we're going to roll, and roll again, and roll again, roll again. Okay, got a level 2 javelin, so we're going to combine again to a second level 4, and that should give us enough stats that we should be in okay shape. I am going to reroll for 27 here as well. I really want to get to a 3rd or 4th level 4 weapon before we fight the elite, because that's what's going to allow me to kill the elite very quickly. So I'm going to reroll extremely aggressively in the next couple waves, try to level my weapons as quickly as possible. Finding crates is, of course, nice because it's extra income, but certainly a lot less exciting for this character, where we always have to recycle the... For this challenge, where we always have to recycle the contents and don't get to benefit from them. One other thing, too, that we are suffering from is that we can't buy any economy items, so we're just making less money, have fewer levels, and so on. No gentle aliens or mice in order to spawn more enemies, and everything like that simply isn't available to this character. Here, I'm going to go with 9% speed. I do want more movement speed, and then I'm going to reroll and reroll. Come on. Okay, nice. A 4 melee damage upgrade. I talked about how much we wanted to find one of those at some point, and we finally did. We can now keep upgrading our javelins here. Oh, amazing getting a cursed javelin. With only 2 curse, that is pretty unlikely, but the fact that we managed one means that once we get this to level 4, we're going to have guaranteed criticals on every attack with it, which is going to be incredibly strong. Silver Bullet would be really nice, but again, we're not allowed. And now we're going to have to start passing... Oh, this is a great shop. We're going to have to start passing the level... passing cursed items as well, which is going to be pretty painful. Passing a lure hurts, obviously. And cursed weird food. These are all items that would just be amazing if we were allowed to buy them. Sadly, that is not the case. One of the funny things about the king is that this isn't, like, the optimal way to play this character without buying any items, but it's not as far off from optimal as you might think, because the benefits from getting to level 4 weapons are just so massive. I know this is the pet project of a regular commenter here, is to get me to play this run, so shout out to you, my friend. Here I'm going to take 6 melee damage as well, so that's going to boost our weapon damage significantly, which is great. Again, getting rid of our level 1 javelin is perfect. We'll do some more re-rolling here, and I would really love... Oh, I saw the spear. You can buy spear in a javelin run. It's a primitive weapon, so you don't give up the weapon tag, and it has kind of the same attack pattern and scaling, so it's actually not terrible to buy spear and mix it in with javelins. That said, I really do just want to get these to level 4 as fast as possible, so I am going to pass on it, but buying a spear when you're playing... Having 1 or 2 spears when you're playing a javelin run is a totally reasonable thing to do. That's going to be another level 4 weapon, which is great. And we will hit our goal of having 4 level 4 weapons before we have to fight an elite. That should be enough that we can kill the elite pretty quickly. Now, what I don't have is any healing, so if I take a bunch of damage from the elite, we have no real way to fix it. Of course, this character can't use consumable healing items either. Every time we attack an enemy and don't get hunting trophy money from it, I just feel sad all over again about passing it. Here I'm gonna reroll. I could take 10 luck, but I really want to pick up a regen or a lifesteal upgrade, or just a melee damage upgrade. Attack speed is also really good, because that's gonna let me kill the elite much faster. Very nice to get upgraded javelins here, and then we'll do some more re-rolling, and roll again, and roll again. Roll one more time. For 32, I think our re-rolls are getting too expensive. We won't be able to buy a javelin anyways, even if we roll into one. But this weapon is so phenomenal at killing elites that, especially because we have a cursed one, that we should be able to kill it without being at too much risk. So even though I walked into an attack there for no reason whatsoever, we were never in any danger because we killed the elite so fast. This run is significantly harder with melee weapons, of course, because part of what is making this work, even though we have very low defensive stats, is we're killing everything before it gets to us. So, Javelin as a ranged weapon, even though it scales with melee damage, very good at protecting the character, especially once you get some attack speed, because it has pierce, it has high damage, it has good range, so it keeps you alive. Recycle the medkit here. You can buy crit chance when you're playing a Javelin run. Javelin does have increased critical multipliers, so even though it automatically crits, buying crit chance can still increase your damage, but on this character, we simply don't have the base damage of melee damage to make buying crit chance worth it. Do I want 4 regen? I think buying enough regen to be good is going to be kind of tough, so I'm actually going to reroll here, and do I want attack speed or melee damage? I think just more melee damage. We have very high attack speed just because we're the king. And then we're going to do some more rerolls, and we will combine and buy another javelin. We're up to 4 level 4 weapons. The level 1 weapon no longer does anything for us, so we'll do a few rerolls here, do one more, and I will lock this level 2 javelin as well. Now, I would really love to find the Gobbler's hat, of course. I'm going to be looking for that one for a month, probably, until we actually start finding it. And if we are lucky enough to find another cursed weapon, that would also be amazing. Though, given that we can't buy cursed items, it's hard getting enough cursed to make that likely, so I'm certainly not expecting it. We were extremely lucky to find one cursed javelin. Definitely over par on that. Again, all these crates, normally very exciting, but come with a tinge of sadness for this character. Try to pick up as many materials as I can. This character's always going to leave a bunch on the ground. We'll recycle, 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 and buying range is actually not totally ridiculous for this character. The Javelin, again, despite scaling with melee damage, uses the ranged weapon rules for its range, so you do get the full value. Melee weapons are half as affected by range as ranged weapons in Brotato. The game never explains this anywhere, but that is the case. But I think we can simply do better, so I'm going to roll here, and I actually want the melee damage over the attack speed. We have lots of attack speed from our passive, so although attack speed is still always good to buy, when offered melee damage, even at a lower rate, we're going to buy that instead. And then we'll do a bunch of re-rolling, and we are still looking for an upgraded Javelin. So the level 2 Javelin, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for us. I'm just going to spend all my money re-rolling, basically, because we literally can only buy one item for the rest of the run, unless we find a cursed Javelin or a Gobbler's hat. So it's not like we need to save the money for anything, so we're just going to reroll looking for a level 3 or 4 javelin and to maximize the chance of us getting a cursed weapon. Blew up the elite immediately, which is great. Our cursed javelin hitting for 621 every time, of course. 629, actually. So I guess it was 621. Yeah, 621 against the mantis shrimp, because they have their damage reduction. Having 8 damage reduction on wave 14 is actually pretty brutal for the mantis shrimp. There are some builds that are going to really struggle to deal damage in that case. Hurts to pass this diploma. This cursed diploma would be amazing, but rules are rules. And here we're going to take 6 more melee damage, and then we will do some rerolling. Okay, well, we got it. We got the Gobbler's hat. This is exactly the item that we said we were going to buy if it showed up. So we're going to end the game with exactly 1 item in our inventory here. And now we've got the Gobbler's hat. It did completely zero out my movement speed, so I will need to fix that. But let's see how much extra money we're making every time we kill an enemy. Wow, look at this. Yeah, even getting this with not many waves left, this is just going to be so much additional income. This item is ridiculous. I will say, I'm not unhappy about a broken level 4 item being added. Even if the Gobbler's hat, I think, is a little bad for balance, it's fine for some level 4 items to just be pretty overpowered. And there are things like Anvil and whatever, where if you get them early, it guarantees that you win the run. So I don't mind that. I do hope that Evil Empire knows that this is kind of a one-off game-breaking balance thing and doesn't think that this is a balanced item. And that they will be, you know, being careful to keep the game well-balanced, because part of what I like about Brotato is how very carefully balanced it is. We'll take some lifesteal here, and then we are going to do some rerolling. Oh, Cursed Grind's Magical Leaf, that would be so nice. Any javelins? I'm like 100% gonna roll past a javelin at some point because I'm just re-rolling so much. Also, I think you can see that at the point where I bought the Gobbler's hat, we were guaranteed to win the run anyways. Not, like, 100%, because with low defenses and low health, things can still always go wrong if you do some poor movement, but the Gobbler's hat is not going to be the reason that we win this run if we win it. In part because I got so much extra money and then haven't spent any of it. All I've done with it is reroll. Definitely going to need a movement speed upgrade to fix the movement speed that we lost by buying the hat here. I'm going to reroll here, and could take 15 luck, but I think I'm just going to reroll a couple more times and look for lifesteal or movement speed. Yeah, so we get a +9 move speed upgrade. That's perfect, and then we can just keep rerolling. Level 2 Javelin doesn't do anything. Nothing here, really. We did get a scythe. I did say it was going to be weapons only, not javelins only. Taking 3 damage per second, though, I think we actually can't survive, because we simply don't have the regen for the scythe. And with 5% lifesteal, although the scythe has inherent lifesteal, the javelins will steal all the kills from it, so we actually won't be able to survive if I buy that item, so we're going to pass on it. And, okay, a cursed javelin we'll definitely take. Doing a little bit of burst damage here. But what I really need at this point is just some armor. A little more lifesteal and a little more armor, and we're in great shape. Lifesteal does have the problem with this weapon, that our weapons do too much damage, so we're often killing the things that we would be lifestealing off of before we can use them to heal up. We are making so much money, it's unbelievable. Not only... So, it's a 70% on paper increase to your income, but in practice it's actually a lot more than that, because enemies drop less than one material per enemy kill at this point. The later you go on in waves, the more chance enemies have of not dropping materials. And so, when only 50% of enemies are dropping materials, a 70% increase to the number of enemies that drop materials is actually a more than 100% increase to your income. Here, I'm going to take 6 more melee damage, I think, and then perfect, 3 armor, that's exactly what we needed. We're going to sell the javelin and buy a cursed javelin, and then... Okay, so interesting question. Do I buy this other cursed level 1 javelin by selling? I could combine them and get a cursed level 2. That means giving up 1 cursed weapon slot. But if I sell a level 4 javelin, we lose a lot of stats, and then we have 2 level 1 weapons. I think it's still worth it, because if I find any other level 1 javelins, and we're going to be rolling a lot, getting these to level 2 cursed is going to be just better than the level 4 anyways. And of course, once we get them to level 4 cursed weapons, we're in great shape. I could lock this level 3 javelin. That way, if I find a level 2, we can buy this to upgrade immediately to level 4. Is that worth doing? I think so, because the only item that we care about is javelins anyways, so giving up on a few weapon slots, or a few shop slots to make the exact item that we need more likely to show up, I think is okay there. I'd be interested to do the actual math on that, though. Because we would need exactly... We're giving up a quarter of our rerolls, basically. And we need exactly a level 2 javelin to show up to make it worth having the level 3 locked. But if we do have a level 2 javelin show up, then having the level 3 gets us to level 4 right away. So that's an interesting spot. I honestly wasn't expecting this run to have any interesting shop decisions, because it's just, I mean, you see weapons, you buy them. And if you see other stuff, you don't. So it's kind of neat that there is a real decision that we had to make in the shop there. Healing's still definitely an issue for this character, so I need to be pretty careful about what we're doing. Recycle that. I'm going to reroll here. Or I could just take 2 lifesteal. Let's actually just do that. And then we'll do some rolls. Do some rolls. Do some rolls. I'm starting to think that this is just making it too unlikely for us to find more weapons, so I'm going to unlock it there. I'm really curious about what the actual math is, though. The level 4 javelin, unfortunately, doesn't do anything for us here, because I would have to combine my cursed weapons anyways. But maybe having another level 4 and a level 3 cursed is better regardless, because it gives us the king buff. I think I'm still just going to reroll, though. Because the other thing is, there we got a level 1 javelin, and having the level 3 locked doesn't do anything if you find the level 1. It is fun to have only exactly one weapon, or only exactly one item. Just the Gobbler's hat. I also really like how it looks, especially with the cursed weapons, because it sort of looks like the purple curse graphic is bobbing on the ends of the Gobbler's hat horns. pick up some of these materials at least before the end of the wave. Oh, can we get this loot alien kill? Yes. Unfortunately, left 200 materials on the ground, but that's just the nature of the character we're playing. We're taking 12 HP here, and then we're going to do some re-rolling. Nothing here that we can buy, nothing here, although the fairy would have been nice. Okay, so here we found a level 2 and level 3 in the same shop. So having the level 3 locked, if we had re-rolled into that, actually wouldn't have been good anyways. Level 1 javelin doesn't do anything, but getting our weapons up to level 4 here is still going to be really good. And let's see how quickly we can kill the bosses. We do want to kill them very quickly if we can. Because otherwise we could die here if I take too much damage, since we have low armor and almost no healing, so I do need to be careful. But killing the whale boss means that we have only the fairly easy to dodge snake boss attacks left. I'm going to run over after taking one hit from the snake boss and grab the level 4 healing crate just for safety's sake, and then we were able to win the run. Alright, well, we have defeated the king with only one item in our inventory, just the Gobbler's hat, in a weapons-only challenge, minus the hat. And yeah, that was a pretty fun and honestly pretty straightforward run. Just buy a bunch of javelins and win. Like I said, I don't think that this is the optimal way to play the king. It is better to buy items, but it is kind of fun how close this is to optimal. It's like 80% as good as chopping correctly is literally only buying weapons. And it's kind of fun when the gimmick strategy is that strong for a given character. The Gobbler's hat, obviously, you saw we were making absurd amounts of money in the end game there with no income items at all. This item is obviously completely broken. Let's take a look at our weapons as well. 25k damage on this Cursed Javelin. Wow, this one really underperforming. Did more than 5k less than the other one. More than 6k less than the other Cursed level 4 Javelin. The Cursed level 2 dealt 7200, which was about on par with the level 4s. So, so I guess actually the Cursed level 2 is worse than having a level 4 here. Because if it didn't do more damage, it also took away my king passive, so we lost 25% damage and 25% attack speed as a result. Obviously no items to go over in terms of how they performed, so I hope that you enjoyed that run, and of course if you have, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers my friends, I'll catch you next time.